I am Victoria Quinn. My book is called Face of Deception. It is dedicated to mothers against drunk driving. To the victims who lost their lives by the hands of a drunk driver, and the survivors and the families who were left behind to pick up the broken pieces, I want to thank you, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, for your dedication and your mission to stop drunk driving and supporting the victims and survivors. We will start with chapter 1. After leaving the church revival 30 miles across town, Alexa and her husband Brian were driving home through a severe thunderstorm. The storm was like no other storm they have ever seen. The rain plummeted the windshield as lightning lit up the grumpy, dark sky with loud thunder afterwards. The wind picked up, pushing against the car. This road is too dark, narrow, and windy for this kind of weather. It's dangerous. At the next exit, I'm going to pull over. Thank God the revival was not outside, Brian said. Alexa leaned over and kissed her husband on the cheek. I agree. You preached a great sermon like always, Pastor Brian Stevens. One of your best, if I may ask, and I may add. He gave her a warm smile and gently touched her hand. The Holy Ghost takes the credit for that. He was on fire. Also, I could not have done it without you, co-pastor Alexa Stevens. She returned the smile. He was still the same humble man she had met in high school. She stared at him. He was the most attractive man she has ever met. His features were almost perfect, like a male model. He had flawless skin, beautiful light brown skin, an athletic build, a very wavy bald fade haircut, and a clean-shaved goatee. Some might say he was too good looking. The best part about it all was God had blessed her with the perfect husband made just for her. I love you, she said to him. I love you more, he replied. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. I love the smell of your cologne. Brian glanced over at her. Duh, you should. You bought it. Alexa laughed and pointed at herself. You're right. I do have good taste. He laughed along with her. Yes, you do. His tone turned serious. Do you know how much I truly love you? We have been married 7 years, straight out of high school. Every day when I wake up in the morning and look at you, I fall in love with you all over again. The Lord blessed me with you, and I am always thanking him for you. I didn't want anyone else in the world by my side but you. You as my wife. Look at us. As husband and wife, we both are ordained ministers with a ministry that started out with only 12 members. Now we have over 300 members. Look at God. Yeah, it's amazing what God can do, Alexa said. The storm had gotten worse. The wind picked up even more with a high-pitched whistle. The rain came down harder. The clouds went from a pale dark to a complete dark. Brian smiled and drove carefully as the lightning lit up the wet road. His eyes became brighter with fear when he saw the shadow of a truck fast approaching them in their lane. He gripped the steering wheel and yelled, "Hold on!" And Alexa glanced in front of them and screamed. Brian swerved to avoid the truck, but it was too late. They were hit head on by a drunk driver without any headlights. The impact forced the steering wheel against Brian's chest, and the airbag imploded in a blinding white flare, smacking Brian in the face. He fell unconscious. The windshield shattered, and rain poured into the car as both smashed vehicles came to a rest. The hood of Alexa and Brian's shiny car was crushed, and there was a second of smoke and silence. Shocked and dazed, Alexa was trapped in her seat, not able to move from her waist down. She screamed from the severe pain in her legs and chest. The pain was too much for her to bear. She cried out even more when she touched her forehead and felt something warm running down the side of her face. Suddenly, she became lightheaded when she glanced over to Brian to see him unconscious. When she reached over to touch him, she screamed in agony from the pain in his legs. The airbag deployed. Then the airbag deflated, and Brian collapsed in her arms. The driver of the truck was slumped over the steering wheel, moaning and grasping for air. The man slowly sat up and lay back in the seat. There was a moment of confusion as he realized that he had hit another vehicle. He glanced at the other vehicle to see a woman moving around in panic. It was at that moment he panicked himself and tried to start his truck. Alexa screamed, "Brian, wake up, please wake up." She kissed him and held him in her arms. Quickly, she looked up when she heard the driver attempting to start his vehicle. "Help us, please," she screamed. The rain continued unmercifully through the shattered windshield. The driver got the truck started. The sound of the truck grew louder as he slowly made his way around their mangled car. The driver caught a glimpse of Alexa's face as he passed by their vehicle. Alexa could not make out his face, but only a blurry form of a man. "Help us," she pleaded uncontrollably to the man. "Please, don't leave us. My husband needs help." She watched, barely moving, as the truck drove away. The driver ignored her cries. Alexa glanced down at her husband, Brian, and continued to cry. "Brian, please, don't leave me. Don't leave me, please, wake up." She looked up in a panic and fear. "God, please, please, God, help us. Please don't take my husband away from me." She glanced over and noticed her cell phone on the floor next to Brian's leg. She unfastened the seatbelt and struggled to reach for the phone. But the pain made it impossible for her to get it. The last thing Alexa remembered before she passed out was Brian's lifeless face. At the break of dawn, after being unconscious for several hours, Alexa lay motionless with her husband in her arms. The rain had stopped and daylight had appeared. The rising sun slowly radiated a golden orange glow, casting sunbeams in every direction of the dull morning sky. Firefighters, ambulance, and police officers were on the scene of the wreckage. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" a male voice called out. Ma'am? When she didn't respond, he quickly tried to get to her. One officer put down road flares to alert and redirect traffic. Traffic was backed up for miles due to people slowing down to see what happened. Alexa stayed in intensive care for over 4 months. She was not able to attend her husband's funeral. She lost her baby and endured 2 life-threatening surgeries. The accident was so deadly that no one could believe she had survived the crash, including her doctors. Alexa stayed in the hospital an additional 7 months and then was released to go home several weeks later. She was temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. Her family, along with her best friend Naya, which was Brian's sister, and Christopher, who was Brian's best friend, always came by to check on her. Alexa knew that it would be impossible to live without her husband. Her faith was fading, and nothing mattered anymore. Her life didn't matter, school didn't matter, family didn't matter, even church didn't matter to her. And that really worried her family the most. A month later, Alexa sat in her wheelchair in front of the television as the news flashed on the screen. A news reporter spoke about that car accident she was in. We are bringing you a tragic, unsolved story that happened a year ago today, where a pastor and his wife were hit head-on by an unidentified truck that fled the scene. As you can see behind me, it's amazing that anyone survived. The car was demolished. The pastor was pronounced dead at the scene, and his wife had to be cut out of the car with the jaws of life and airlifted to Jackson Memorial Hospital in critical condition. The only clue the police have to go on is the blue paint on the front bumper of the car from the truck. Investigators say alcohol played a major factor, and that may be why the driver of the other vehicle fled the scene. The family of the surviving victim is offering an award to anyone who has any information on the other driver who is responsible for this fatal accident. I am Elena DeLeon, reporting from WSVN 7 News, Miami. Alexa's mom, Valerie, came into the room drying her hands on her apron from washing dishes. Every day she stayed with Alexa until she went to bed and returned the next morning. Sometimes she would spend the night, depending on how late Alexa decided to go to bed. She quickly turned the television off and stared at the tears on Alexa's face. She kneeled in front of her and brushed her hair from her forehead. Alexa stared into space, not acknowledging her mother's presence. We thank God for you being here, her mother said. You have so many heavenly angels watching over you. She smiled. A representative from Mothers Against Drunk Driving stopped by earlier this morning. She left her card. When Alexa didn't respond, she added, Alexa, they really want to help you during your time of loss. Now that you're recovering from the most of your injuries, they really want to support you.